My Blair's got the joy of the almost weekend in his heart. Welcome to Trending SA right here on SABC3. Your dynamic trio is back on your screen to serve you trends and hot topics. My name is Alma Smith and I never roll alone. I have my partners in crime with me, Mr. Joyful Mable. Hallo daar.
Goeienaand.
Hey.
Ja, ek is baie lekker.
Is
Ek
het?
die blou van die grondse antwoord.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
What a wow.
None of that worked. You must never do that again. Okay, and then Rafiwe, are you keeping it together just?
Listen, I'm out here just speaking what I'm comfortable with, not at all trying to break my tongue. Unlike homeboy over here.
I love the outfit. I love that whole Miranda Priestley thing that you have.
Ndiyabulela, Mable. I won't get too excited though, because your compliments always come with a sting in the
No,
tail.
because you're the Miranda Priestley of Pace magazine.
Yabo? There he goes. I'm lodging a complaint to the manager, by the way.
There it is, Ned. Now, you've already probably spotted our guest. She's a plus-size model, influencer, and social media commentator. Last year, she bagged the title of the first South African plus-size model to work with internationally renowned fashion label Calvin Klein. She's an outspoken champion of body positivity. I'm talking about Sekhu, better known as Thick Leonce.
Hey!
Welcome.
You're so awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Always a pleasure.
Right. Thick Leonce.
Yes.
Body positivity is a divisive topic. You recently came under fire for the following thread, right? So British Glamour basically was tweeting about that reality versus reality. And there were some slim bodies there. And you went on to say, the body positivity movement is not for slim bodies already accepted by society. Stop this. Now, after receiving backlash from tweets, you then responded to one of the tweets with this. No one was body shaming slim girls, beloved. I was highlighting the fact that body positivity movement is being hijacked by people who are already accepted in society, and subsequently, Refilo must have helped you with that, pushing out the people it was originally meant for, which is fat people. Now, do you feel as though social media, particularly Twitter, does not understand you most of the time?
I mean, already someone assuming that me saying the body positivity movement is not made for bodies that are already accepted into society. Interpreting that as I hate skinny women is very problematic. I think it's very important for us to educate ourselves on why certain movements exist, like the body positivity movement. So if you know anything about the body positivity movement, it is literally rooted from the fat acceptance liberation movement, where fat people created a movement not to say, hey, we need you guys to come and love yourselves and accept yourselves or whatever. They are literally fighting a systemic thing that's happening, which is fat phobia. It's institutionalized, it's systemic. Literally, fat bodies are dying simply for existing and just being fat. Whereas you go to a doctor and a doctor doesn't even diagnose you and literally just says, you're fat and that's that, you need to lose weight, and not actually finding out what the problem is. Or something as simple as not being able to go to the mall and purchase clothing. And I think that what slimmer bodies need to understand, that nobody's saying that slim bodies don't have body issues. Nobody's saying slim women don't have self-esteem issues.
Of course.
What we're saying is you are not oppressed like fat bodies.
True.
You are accepted. You are literally represented in media. You are represented everywhere. Your body is accepted.
So there are people who are making the case that what is not represented when it comes to slim bodies in the media is body imperfection. So saggy, stretch marks, not as toned, women who've had babies who might have slimmed down, but now they're sitting with all of this residual, kind of this whole new body that they can't make peace with. Is there not space within the body positivity movement, under the umbrella, for women who feel like even though they are the right size, the texture or something else in terms of their skin quality isn't good enough and isn't represented and isn't normalized?
Exactly what I was saying. So nobody's saying don't be body positive.
Yeah,
We are saying that the body positivity movement is systemic. It's literally fighting fat phobia because fat people are oppressed. Yes, you have cellulite, yes, you have stretch marks, but that does not take away your dignity as a human being.
Last week, we did actually discuss this incident, and we were talking about the fact that when you're using your platform to advocate or to speak for certain causes, how difficult is it to make mistakes and rebound from those things? Do you feel as though people on social media just don't want to hear I'm sorry, I will learn, or I could have said it better this time around?
I think people on social media just want to fight and argue without reasoning. And already when you are fighting and arguing with people on social media, it always goes back to one jab. Oh, you're so fat. Like, it literally goes back to that. And I think we need to be able to educate one another. Instead of being aggressive towards me, ask me, what do you mean by that? Instead of just assuming, oh, you just hate skinny women. And that's why I went to elaborate on what the actual issue is, to just make sure that somebody learns that day. And it was quite cool to see that a lot of people did take away from what I did tweet and say, oh, thank you so much for sharing that. Because even with the body positivity movement, it's grown so much, whereas it's accepting of bodies with disabilities, it's accepting of transgender bodies. And like I said, it's bodies that are not accepted and embraced in society. So it's quite sad to see that because a lot of brands have hopped onto body positivity and it's being capitalized, the people who created the movement are now being pushed way at the back. And now we are seeing slimmer bodies in the forefront of the body positivity movement, which causes more problems. If a woman who's half my size is now at the forefront of the movement that was created as a safe space for me, what does that say about me? How am I supposed to feel? And this is what I fight about, even in the industry as a plus-size model. Sorry, I just want to cover this.
I'm really just fascinated by what you're saying, because obviously we spoke about the fact that you did that amazing Calvin Klein campaign, and I'm curious to find out how you then vet the campaigns that you are taking part in, because you don't want to be used as a token, I guess.
Absolutely. So when it comes to campaigns that I work with, I literally do my research on the brand itself, and most of the brands I've collaborated with are brands that have been very inclusive, very diverse, or even if they hadn't been in the past, have learned to be more diverse with their sizing, like Calvin Klein, that has introduced an awesome range for plus-size women, which is what the body positivity movement fights for.
Thank you so much for joining us, Thick Leons. It's great to have you on the show. The conversation around body positivity is certainly nuanced, and we appreciate her time and insights, but also yours, so keep weighing in. After the break, we speak to Lethabo Sekhu from Credible about culture, hacking, and innovation. Don't miss it.
Oh, you this dancer.
Welcome back. You're watching Trending SA right here on SABC3. Now, here's something you need to take note of. A South African startup called Credible is collaborating with the Goethe Institute for a really, really cool project. It's called Hack Your Culture, and it's aimed at bringing the African cultural heritage to the forefront of virtual artistic experiences. And that's not their only mission. There's more. They also want to start the very important conversation about making heritage and cultural data more accessible to the public in order for them to use, share, and modify.
Hack Your Culture is a creative problem-solving hack marathon that brings together our historic galleries, libraries, archives, museums. These things are now called GLAM institutions, G-L-A-M, with creative minds and tech enthusiasts to bring about collaborations and innovations. And all of this derives from open cultural data.
All right. And to tell us more about this pioneering project and why it's important for us as South Africans to be involved, we are joined in studio by Lethabo Sekhu from Credible. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much, Maple. Thank you guys for having me on the show. I am well. I'm great. I'm pretty excited about Hack Your Culture. And in essence, you know, like you guys have said, it's really just a platform where we're bringing together all these creative, cultural, and tech enthusiasts together with our GLAM institutions, because they are the custodians of our cultural heritage information.
Really
and what the mission is really how can we bring our cultural heritage information to the forefront of virtual experiences.
And joining us via Skype is Jonas Raduns, who is a public relations officer for the Goethe Institute. Did I say everything correctly, Jonas?
I'd say you get like an 80%.
Listen, for a Zulu man to get 80% after saying Jonas Raduns, I did very well.
Well, I mean, thanks to you both for making yourselves available. But here's a question. A collaboration between a global cultural institution, right, and a creative digital startup, which connects freelance creative professionals to the market. For me, I welcome it, first of all. It sounds like a match made in heaven. Tell us what informed this collaboration between Credible and the Goethe Institute? How did this all kick off?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question, Refila. Maybe as a bit of a background, I'm not sure if everybody knows what the Goethe Institute is. We are the German Cultural Institute. We operate worldwide. So I think we have about 100 locations in different countries, from South Africa to Northern Europe, from Brazil to Asia. And that already shows what is basically our work. We work very much in intercultural exchange. We believe that intercultural exchange is, I mean, it sounds corny, but it's a first step for a better world. Because me, a German, being in South Africa, speaking to you guys, it will help me understand your perspective. You will understand my perspective. And in a world where we at the moment have the Trumps running around and stirring up the pot, I think cultural exchange and that understanding is very important.
What is a hackathon, Lethabo, and what makes Hack Your Culture different from a regular hackathon? Because apparently it's also not just your stock standard one.
So traditionally, you know, hackathons are reserved for, so let me actually take it back a step. A hackathon is a hack marathon where people come together and form teams, and it's basically a creative problem-solving event or tool that people use to come up with solutions to a predetermined set of problems over a specific period of time. So people register to participate in these events. They then come up with these innovative solutions, and basically the team that wins at the end gets a prize or whatever it is. So it's a tool for innovation. And what makes Hack Your Culture different from traditional hackathons is we're really opening it up to the entire sort of creative, cultural, and digital industries across sub-Saharan Africa. Because we, alongside the Goethe Institute, are also running the sub-Saharan version of Hack Your Culture. And in essence, what we're trying to do is open it up to say, let's bring the creatives, let's bring the performers, let's bring the artists, let's bring the people in VR, AR, web development together to really just like come up with.
And this is all virtual.
Yeah.
All of it's virtual.
Mina, what I love about this is that it's not just by Africans, for Africans, ne? Wakanda forever. You know what I'm saying? I love the fact that you guys have involved the rest of the sub-Saharan continent, right, in this whole thing. What is a hackathon and what does it entail?
So what Hack Your Culture is and what it entails is that we're going to be working with these GLAM institutions. So we do have participating GLAM institutions from across the continent. And what we'll be doing is they'll be making their data sets available, which is what the hackathon participants will use to come up with these solutions. What we're doing now is we're running our call for hackathon participants, which ends today, 10th of September. You need to make sure you apply. And over and above that, what happens is that we're going to be launching the event on the 24th. The hackathon participants are going to have 3 weeks to come up with these innovative solutions, work agile together, and at the end of the 3-week period, it'll go into a judging process where the projects will be evaluated, and then the prize-giving ceremony, which will happen on the 23rd.
Okay. So I want to find out more about the Hack Your Culture social media challenge. How should people? What's that all about?
We're looking to build a virtual platform that is going to make accessible all our cultural information, from clothing to the stories that your grandparents or your parents used to share with you when you were young. Things like the food you'll be cooking on Heritage Day, supported with the recipes and background information around why all of this information matters. And that's going to be the online platform that's going to be made accessible to all of us at the end of the hackathon. One of our problem tracks that the hackathon participants will be creating, or innovative solutions. And that's what we're going to create as the digital realm where we can all engage, connect, learn about our languages, across the board,
Wow, that's amazing. Is there anything we've missed, Jonas? Is there anything you feel like we need to make people aware of before we say goodbye?
No, I think maybe just as a parting word, I believe this is an amazing experience for anyone that wants to take part, because, as I said, we are here for the intercultural exchange. You might be working with a brilliant VR technician from Kenya. You might be working with a brilliant storyteller from Senegal. And I mean, on top of that, there's also brilliant prizes to be won.
What's the prize, Jonas?
The main prize, The main prize is basically an all-expenses paid trip to Germany next year to take part in another hackathon by our partners Coding Da Vinci. So there is that very amazing trip, but also there's just this amazing experience of kind of giving a voice to cultural heritage in South Africa and in Africa, and to exchange that with other people.
Beautiful stuff. Lethabo, thank you so much for your time today. Jonas, thank you as well.
Say the surname.
Don't put me on the spot now. My tongue isn't feeling so nimble right now. But thank you so much for joining us and telling us about this amazing campaign. It really is groundbreaking. And of course, being in the forefront of finding innovative solutions to the problems, right, that we face is vital, because it means we get to be, as Africans, in the driver's seat of our own future and ultimately make sure that our history is documented. That is so key. And I'm going to leave you with that while we go for a quick ad break. You at home, see you just after the break.
I'm living my life.
Welcome back to Training SA. We're not done yet. We still have one more thing in our checklist before we leave the building, right, my Blair?
Now, our guest is co-founding a development agency called My Future Work that provides digital and blended learning solutions and believes the answer lies with us finding our place as individuals in the fourth industrial revolution and leveraging the opportunities we are afforded. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the Mama Pay, Melody Xaba.
Thank you. Hi, Melody.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you here. Well, you know, a key part of the conversation we're having is that with digital transformation continuing to change, right? How we live, how we learn, how we work and communicate, we really have been put in a position where we need to rethink how we do every single thing and how we conduct our daily lives, both on a professional and personal basis. That's really what you're all about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, pretty much. I mean, as Maple said, so I run a learning and development agency called My Future Work. And pretty much what we do is we help organizations, right, with digital transformation. But we're also very passionate about helping the individual find their place in this fourth industrial revolution.
So key.
Yes, because, you know, the key thing right now is that we are sitting as a country and a continent facing a huge unemployment issue, right? I mean, youth, 70% unemployment in South Africa, 35% unemployment, right, in general, and just with the impact of COVID, you know, it's getting worse. And digital, even pre-COVID, right, has been said to be the thing that can help us catch up.
So the fourth industrial revolution is something that people are talking about the whole time.
What's the first three?
No, we don't have time. We don't have time. And I'm not a politician, so it's cool. So
It's not just for politicians. What do you mean?
no, but
That cannot be excused.
different countries don't even agree on this. And in South Africa, there are many different sectors where people aren't even on the same page. So what is it once and for all? What are we talking about?
So what is it once and for all? Every single one of us, if you want to be able to work, you need to acquire some digital skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the level then at which those the digital skills are varies depending on the type of products you want to create and the type of work that you want to engage in. That's essentially what it means for us as humans. So, I mean, it means something else for companies, right, where companies are going to be able to use this technology to then build solutions. But for people, it just means that if you want to be able to work in the digital economy, you need some digital skills.
So it's no longer about learning how to use a typewriter. You need to make Excel pivot and do all of those
You
things.
know what? I think that's also a much more complicated scenario, and that's the thing that scares people, right? Like for me, I don't have a technical background. Like my background is art and media. I was a producer for 10 years. The digital skills that I have right now, being able to do this are self-taught,
Okay.
right? And I can't make Excel pivot, but I can do some basic stuff that I can, you know, run and operate a business in digital. So that's why I say to you that the level at which you want those skills, it just varies according to what product are you trying to build. And you don't have to learn all of them at once.
So I mean, that's exactly what I'm curious about, because we talk about 4IR or tech as this mad silver bullet, right? That's going to help us just frog leap into the future. But essentially, I guess what we need to be practical about as South Africans, especially, right, in this economy is what are the real opportunities available should we get this digital and upskilling right?
So, I mean, major one is economic impact, right? And economic impact in the sense that more people are going to be employed. And the more people are employed, it means that you've got more taxpayers. It means that you've got more buyers that are buying product. It means that business is going to thrive. Basically, that's what it means. It means that for us, it really is about creating more employment opportunities for people, and not just in South Africa, but allowing people to be able to gain access to markets that are international, because digital, transcends physical boundaries.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So you talk about personal innovation, and you're saying we should start with hiso, by me, ourselves.
Yes.
How does that work? What do you mean?
So personal innovation really is about you initiating the change instead of waiting for you to be disrupted.
Sure.
So, for example, COVID is actually the perfect, example where people were just very slow to adopting to the idea, right, of digital transformation, and then COVID happened, and then people were losing their minds. Some probably ended up in mental institutions because now they had to use Zoom.
Okay.
Right? Whereas with personal innovation, I know Zoom is a very basic example. You can actually go, oh, there's a thing called video conferencing. So how does video conferencing work? Let me just try and learn how this thing works. It really is about you disrupting yourself before you get disrupted. And there's different ways in which you can do that, right? Where you could be an employee, you can start looking really at your job right now and going, what is the level of disruption that's happening in my industry? That's what it's about.
I like that.
All right, what are the top 3 practical things that you need to get started?
Like really top 3 at the top of my head, you're looking at Google, Skills for Africa, that you find for free. You can look at 21C Skills, which is a joint venture between Liquid Telecoms and Microsoft. You can look at IBM Digital Nation. Literally tomorrow morning, you can learn and start to code for free without having to pay anything.
So we've got options.
So you've got options, right, on what you can do. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was a lot to take in. This episode has been about a lot of IT. The older people that side didn't get it. I got it, Melody.
You got it.
I got it.
But I don't want you to think of 4IR as just IT. Please don't think about it like that, because it becomes overwhelming.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been an informative conversation, and I hope it's helped you at home. Thank you so much, Melody, for coming. You must come back again, the whole show, and just teach us.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, yeah, definitely.
Lalelani. Tomorrow, we have the gorgeous TV personality, Lethabo, joining us on our 4th seat in our round table discussion. You do not want to miss it. PVR, do something right now. See you tomorrow.